kind of 5 immediate actions that I think businesses should really kind of prioritize, I would very much ask yourself the question, do we know what good looks like? And would your managers easily be able to answer that question? So define clear performance frameworks. That could be 6 to 7, core competencies across your entire business, which you then build out department-specific frameworks for people to assess performance against. Weave in both technical competencies and behavioural competencies as well, and really ensure that you start to then set that clear expectation at each level. I would really encourage having a look at your appraisal process. And if you can, shift away from that long kind of subjective, reflective annual appraisal and embed it in competency proficiencies, setting very clear KPIs, and making sure that you've got 360 feedback in there as well. Really making sure that your regular one-to-ones are your primary mechanism for managing performance. It shouldn't be your appraisal. Implement structured probations. So I think, as Brad mentioned, this is a key area that people are going to have to look at. A lot of businesses after COVID changed their probation periods to 6 months. That might not serve you anymore, because you definitely need to be making decisions as to whether you're passing, failing, or extending before 6 months. So have a look at how you want to structure those. We'd recommend a 4-month probation period with the ability to extend by 4 to 6 weeks. So you're definitely making a call as to whether they've passed, failed, or being extended before they gain unfair dismissal rights. To have a look at that both in contracts and your handbooks, and make sure managers are informed of that as well. I would make sure that you are diarising or making it really easy for you to ensure that you're having, 1 month check-ins and, subsequent check-ins after that, so that you're giving live feedback. And also make sure that you're setting out really clear decision pathways in terms of what options managers have available to them during that probation period. So whether that's, how do I make a decision as to whether they're passing, failing, or extending? And if performance concerns do arise during probation, make sure that you follow a short, PIP or structured feedback process, so that individuals know way before the end of their probation as to whether they're going to fail or pass. That shouldn't be a surprise to them at the end of it. It needs to be kind of a fair process on both sides. The other thing I'd say is, standardise your documentation. So take this moment to review all of your documentation. Do you have very clear guidance of how to have one-to-ones? What should be included in those? Do you have clear improvement plans, performance improvement plans for your managers as well? Make sure that all decisions based on performance are traceable. Make sure you have that paper trail that you can rely on if you need to take anything further. And then finally, that training. Make sure your managers are comfortable with all of these changes that are coming into play. They really are at the front line of all of these changes that are due to happen or have happened over the last year or so. Mandatory training on how to give feedback, how to manage underperformance, when to bring HR involved into those processes, how to use competency frameworks as well. If you're building those out, don't just build them and then send them across to managers. Make sure they really understand kind of the nuts and bolts of them and how to actually use them effectively. And then that calibration across teams. Make sure that there is a consistent standard of how people are managing, so that you don't get unfair accusations that it's being managed differently across your business. So 5, hopefully fairly easy, but you need to take some time to consider them, things that you can think about and take away within your business.